How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we've got another bit of Fusion World content for you. So following on from the last one we had where we had a look at red in set 2, we're now having a look at blue in set 2. So if you're interested in checking out and seeing what blue has to offer for set 2 and are kind of curious because Bandai did do a huge dump of cards where they were doing really slow, drawn out reveals of randomly, and then moved on to the SRs very quickly and into the special arts, and then just dumped all the rest of the cards on a random Friday. A few days, like less than 2 weeks before the release of it, then feel free to check it out and try to see what we got for the benefits here. Because we're going to have a look and see what blue is given in set 2 to boost it up, because it seems like a continuation from set 1, just with some new things. So it should be interesting. But before we get into it, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, and by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts to when my videos do drop, and watch them near and then or at a later time that suits you best. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and check out what we've got for blue in set 2. So starting off, we have a new blue leader, Lord and Savior, and we get like a Broly-esque kind of one. So just like Broly, Zamasu draws on the front side, so when it attacks, draws 1. And also awakens to be a 25k when it does. And like Broly, it will go down to 3, but not technically go down to 3, but then it still has to awaken at 3, so like Goku, it like the TOP Goku, it awakens at 3 or less life and draws 1. So it's never a 25k base awakened leader that awakens basically to go on 3 life, but as ways of healing. Because just like Broly, it loses its lack of draw from just attacking, but then unlike Broly, it loses all kinds of draws, so where Broly can still kind of draw cards at sacrifice of the thing it's trying to do, which is ramp. Zamasu doesn't have any draw at all, but has like that sustainability, because his activate main is once per turn. By paying 1, discarding 1 from your hands, so similar cost to Goku's effect. If your life is at 2 or less, you add the top card of your deck to your life. I mean, you can keep healing your life to kind of avoid dying, and then you can kind of loop and kind of sustain a hand of 7 quite reasonably in blue. It's not too bad, and it just gives you a bigger boost leader to kind of avoid taking too many more hits. So that is the leader itself. Looks quite cool. It's just basically got to see what kind of cards go with it. And blue does have a lot of cards that kind of keep you you keep a low hand size. You do keep recycling it to keep at that hand size. You don't really dip down or dip higher. You stay a medium size. So first of all, we got some more support for Goku Black. So Goku Black is a bit more of a boost because he was very lacking because he got shafted on some of his cards by getting 2 of the blue skilllesses being in his cards in a Goku Black and a Zamasu. But luckily, we've got some cards to kind of replace those kind of skillless cards that weren't that great with some new cards that actually do something and kind of add to its kind of archetype. So we got a new Zamasu, and never Zamasu you can add to the ones you need to kind of cheat out Goku Blacks a little bit. Well, reduce the cost of Goku Blacks. In this nice Zamasu, which has a permanent, if you have a Goku Black battle card on board, it can't be KO'd, so kind of keeps it sticking around, but only green KOs. It doesn't really care about that too much, whereas the other ones have kind of different ways to kind of get rid of it. And then, well, aside from yellow, which has to kind of rest it and attack it, but hey ho. But then you've got an on-play of it, which is quite nice, where you get to look at top 5 cards of your deck, and add to 1 Goku Black card and add to your hand, and place the rest of the bottom of your deck in a random order. So a nice little way to kind of search your Goku Blacks to kind of find the things, like actually consistency, finding your Goku Blacks that you can bottom deck the Zamasu and actually play out the Goku Blacks you find is a really nice addition. Because before we just had one that bottom decks 1-drops, one that was a blocker if you had a Goku Black on board, and one was skillless. So not the best targets, but now we've got one that's a lot better. And then we've got more Goku Blacks that you can actually find. So we've got a 3 cost and a 4 cost. 3 cost having 20k, or 4 cost having 30k, so the 4 cost kind of replaces the skillless in Goku Black. Was this smaller Goku Black at 3 cost adds some more nice effects. Because its effect is when attacking, you look at the top 3 cards of your decks. There are not many top 3, kind of easier to whiff, as we've seen with Gohan if you played green. You get to look, if you find a Zamasu with a cost of 1 among them, you can play it and then put the rest of the bottom of your deck in a random order. So you can kind of cheat out some Zamasus from top of your deck rather than have to hope to draw into them. And if you've got the full maximum of with this new one being 16, you can essentially swing and then play out as a Zamasu. You can bottom deck it again to kind of bring out some more Goku Blacks in the next turn. Now, the other Goku Black, it actually has an effect that is not just a skillless, it actually has an effect where when attacking, so never attacking one, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you look at the top, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and bottom deck it. So a nice like bottom deck is some of those small ones, but 2 costs is not much. And it doesn't help with our struggle against green, which is there's big costing cards that are kind of hard to deal with, but we've got other ways to kind of deal with them now. So those are some nice additions to Goku Black to add it. So just more things to make it a bit better. It's quite helpful, especially since you know what a searcher for Goku Blacks, and some Goku Blacks actually do things and more options as well. Not only that, we also get support for Vegeta. So Vegeta gets some nice new cards. He gets 2 that directly reference it, and 1 that kind of doesn't reference it but does go well with it. So we've got a Bulma that on play allows you to choose up to one of your your Vegeta cards and give it 10k power if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand. So another 1-drop 10k combo Earthling you can kind of recycle with Pilaf that also boosts any Vegeta. So while Vegeta can normally just boost himself up to 35k for the turn, you can boost him further to 45, so Broly level for a swing, which is cool. You got this Vegeta, which is a 4 cost 30k, but has no combo power, but has a nice unplayed to play it to 1 bomb with a cost of 1 free hands. You either got the blocker one from the starter deck, you got this new one that boosts the Vegeta. It could be, remember, any Vegeta on lead or this Vegeta. And also you've got the one that could reduce the cost of extra cards if you have 7 few cards in your hand by 1. So some nice targets for this, and also an activate main once per turn. If you also have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you can give this card and your leader, doesn't matter what leader is, just your leader, so any of the blue leaders, an extra 5k power for the turn. So you can make this 35, your leader, if you're a Vegeta, 40k swing, which is quite nice, making it so your opponent has to use it both for super combo and another card that out combo at this time. Then you also have this Gotenks. So cheaper, but then still good stats, like 20k threatening awakened leaders and 10k combo. That's a nice activate main where you return this card to his hands, you got to bounce it back as the cost. And if your leader is Vegeta, you get to play up a Gotenks with a cost of 4 from your hand in rest mode. So essentially you play this out, get an attack with it because you can still attack the same turn. And then once you've attacked, bounce it back to hand, play out that bigger SR Gotenks from the starter deck, which then can trigger and get back a Goten and Trunks from your drop, and is played out a turn earlier, which is quite nice. So very nice synergy. So very good cards to boost Vegeta, just giving Vegeta a big buff because these are nice ones that, in addition to it. You've also got some support for Trunks. You've got some cards that help Trunks out. So you've got Never My Future here, which is a nice one where it allows you to, on play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce the cost of it by 1 for the turn. So the nice thing about this is you can reduce the cost of cards to turn a 4 cost to a 3 cost, so then Trunks can just straight up bounce at the hand. Make it easier to kind of deal with some bigger cards in your opponent's board. Also, there's never 1 cost 10k combo Earthling that Pilaf can grab back. And also, you've got the Vegeta here, which kind of, once again, like the one that Vegeta for Vegeta, kind of references Trunks, where it's once again a 4 cost 30k with no combo power. But it has a 1 attacking skill where if your leader is a Trunks Future card, well, if your leader is Trunks Future, you look at the bottom of the card of your deck and play it to 1 blue battle card with a cost of 2 or less, place it the rest of the bottom of your deck. So you can kind of play back that 30k beat stick Trunks, that's 2 cost, that bottom decks himself when he attacks. So you can kind of get a lot more attacks out of this, and the longer you keep this on board and the Trunks go to the bottom deck, the more benefits you can get from just swinging with this. So some very nice new additions. Nice combo power, but you don't care too much when you got a lot of combo power and a lot of recyclability in blue. Then you got some higher costing cards. You got a nice little Fuse Immersive here, 5 cost 30k with no combo power. You got some nice 6 drops as well, like this Fuse Immersive, which is 6 40k with crit, which is quite nice. And you got Zeno being something somewhat reminiscent of Chain Zeno from Masters, but then not as easy to knife and not as easy to drop out early. So Fuse Master was a nice one when KO'd, which is difficult when it's got no blocker skill. So you got to rely on your opponent to KO on it, or one of your own cards to KO, which we'll see in a bit. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you can play one Master Fuse with a cost of 6 in your hand for free. So you can play out this 6 drop one, but you have to have it KO'd, and unless your opponent does it or you've got a way to KO it yourself, it's not going to trigger much, so it's not the greatest. But this 6 drop Zamasu, well, it has critical 40k, so being a big boy. It also has an auto once per turn when your opponent plays a battle card. If your life's at 1, you can choose all your opponent's battle cards and return them to their owner's hand. So kind of like a way to stop your opponent from actually playing stuff out, where if you control their board and you can have 1 life, if they play something, it goes back to their hand. But it only does it once per turn on the first card they play. And you got to be at 1 life, which means you're close to dying. And if you're at 1 life, your opponent has a leader swing, they're just going to go on with that rather than just drop a battle card to get this off the board. which isn't a problem. And even then, they can play out a cheap one, they kind of get back, and then play a bigger one afterwards. Not the greatest card, but is an option. And then we have Zeno here being part of what used to be called Chain Zeno, where you could basically like use something chain attack trunks to bring out Zeno. And Zeno kind of does the same thing as it does in Zeno, where it's a 6 cost 20k, so not the biggest, but at least it threatens all but 2 leaders when it awakens. Tinky combo as well, so it's a nice combo. And on play allows you to choose all cards in the battle area other than this card and place it at the bottom of the deck in a random order. So you get the bottom deck, everything in the battle area, be it fill cards and also battle cards as well. So if your opponent's like got a Broly on board, this is Blue's easiest way to kind of remove it without giving it back to the hand. And also gets rid of fill cards, like if you put red's got a fill card, or you got the androids have a fill card, get rid of that off board as well, to put it to the bottom of the deck. So a very nice, annoying card, a nice way, like blue having some kind of way to kind of remove things without giving it back to hand, which is quite cool. Then we got some more skillless cards. So we got more skillless that we've seen here. We got some just 1 cost, 2 cost, 3 cost skillless in just the characters Vegeta, Trunks, and Great Saiyaman. We also got Videl, which kind of adds some kind of use to making blue now have a pretty good way to go for a skillless route, because it's got a nice effect. It's 1 cost 10k Earthling, which once again can be recycled for Pilaf, and has a nice little effect. It will activate main once per turn by paying 1. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you can play up to 1 skillless battle card with an entry cost of 3 or less from your hand for free. So you can cheat out 3 costs like cheaper by just paying 1, by just having a lower hand size, which is nice. You got some great ones that you got Great Saiyaman. There's another one in blue. I can't remember what it's cool. I can't remember what the other one is blue, but you can kind of keep doing that, and basically just cheating out some skillless. It doesn't have to be a 3 cost or less. So if you don't have like too many 3 costs, you can always cheat out other ones. But it gives a nice skillless route to go for blue, which is quite cool. Then you've got some God support as well. You've got a couple of gods that you got all the different ones, and God isn't really a keyword skill outside of like used on Piccolo and I think Kami. So like the Supreme Kais are called the Supreme Kais. Kibito is an attendant. He's not really a Kai. He's just an attendant. And then even like God for like Beerus is like God Destruction. So it's interesting to note that the gods here, they don't have any Universe 7. Like Beerus doesn't have Universe 7, but then you don't really know that until the Universe Survival arc. It could be from the kind of Beerus film, Battle of the Gods. But you got Shin being like a searcher for Potara, just like a on play, look for top 5 cards in your deck. Add to 1 card for the Potara and in a special trait, and add it to your hand. So searcher for Potara, there's not too many, but there are some in like the Zamasu and Vegito stuff. You got Kibito being another one of those 1 KO'd effects, where you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and add vote to 1 extra, and add to your hand, place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. And blue does have a load of extras, and some pretty nice ones too. And you got Beerus being like one of the ways to kind of be able to KO your own cards, because when attacking, you KO one of your other battle cards as the cost, and then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and bounce it back to the hand. So you can use this as a way to trigger cards that only have effects on KO'd, but don't have blocker to kind of force them to be triggered. So it could be nice. It does have some decent stats. 20k for a free cost, not too bad. And taking combo is pretty decent combo. And you got Old Kai as the super combo for blue for this set. So you got another option, which once again is just another super combo. It doesn't have any synergy with like traits or anything like that. And like some of the other, all the other colors have kind of like a super combo that kind of synergizes with the trait or the deck. It's like we got red having like different universe ones that basically bode well with the different universe traits. You got yellow having Chilai, which bodes well with like Frieza army, and then you got Nail, which kind of like if we get Namekians in yellow, benefits from that. And then you've got like in green, we got an Android 16 one, which kind of like King Vegeta, which kind of benefits from like Saiyan and androids. So yeah, not much that benefits from the super combos and like the traits and stuff, but they are just super combos, just going to be used for what they're used. Then we got some other blue cards. We got some other cards that kind of don't really fit in too much. We got a Goten being a 1 cost. Never one that peel off the target, but it's got on play where you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and bounce about the hand. So kind of like cheap removal and then just free combo off. We've got Zuno with a nice little on play where you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place any of them at the bottom of your deck, well, top or bottom of your deck in any order. So you basically doing the same as that Black Kamehameha, but also has blocker as well, but it's a very weak one at 5k. And then you got Vegeta here being a Potara target, so a card that can be searched by Shin, sorry. Doesn't have any combo power, decent stats for its cost because it's like skill to level stats, but has another effect which only triggers when KO'd. So there's different ways to kind of remove it that aren't KO'd, but then yeah, it makes one KO'd effects not that great, and it allows you to choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and place it on the bottom of his deck. So pretty terrible card, like decent stats, but the effect is actually terrible, very easy to get around, and not many like great or amazing targets from that. But then you got Goku here being another 4 cost 30k, similar like some of the Vegetas we've seen. 0 combo power, just like those have, but has a very strong effect, where activate main. Once per turn, you can discard 3 cards with Saiyan in the special traits, which is pretty easy to do since you have a lot of Saiyans in blue. And then if you do that, you can switch discard to active mode and give it 25k extra power for the turn. So you can get 2 big swings out of this. So once again, another card that kind of gets like doesn't have dual attack, but they've got different ways to do dual attack in fusion mode, which is interesting. Where you can swing for 30k and then discard 3 Saiyans and then restand and add a swing for extra X swing again, but with extra 25k on top. So one 30k swing, then a 55k swing, but then like you kind of like get the second attack in, but you're sacrificing 3 cards up hand, and they're saying so you potentially hit. Like the nice thing is you can hit extra cards because extra cards have traits now, so you can ditch dead extra cards in your hand out for this effect. But then if you haven't got extra cards or dead cards, you have to hit battle cards that all have like 10k combo. Then you're losing more combo power just to get an extra swing with a bit of boost than you are, but then it could get the benefit of getting another swing, and that could be a game-ending swing that can close the game. So pretty nice card. But then, and it's just nice that you can use extra cards that are Saiyans as well to get rid of it, to specifically say. Battle cards just says cards with Saiyan in the trait. Then next we got some powerful super rares. So we got never free super rares, like every color in this set has a free super rares. And for this one, we've got Zamasu, a few Zamasu, and then Vegito. Now the Zamasu is pretty nice in being a 2 cost 20k. Decent stats, got combo power as well, but has a permanent where it can't be removed from battle area by opponent's skill, so no opponent can't. Well, your opponent can still minus it down because game mechanic takes over, but your opponent can bounce back the hand, bottom deck it, or just care it with effects, which is quite nice. So it kind of sticks around from effects like that. And it's got a nice one attacking, like you discard a card from your hand, then draw a card. So you're not gaining anything like the Android 18 in green does, but you're still cycling for your deck, since like you can have peel off, grab things back, you can kind of mitigate that, or put stuff in your drops you can grab back for things as well. And even allows you to filter through and kind of go through your deck a bit quicker. It's quite nice. Then you have Fuse Zamasu, which is a 4 cost 25k. It has nice effects. So first one is when attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, and draw 1 card. So extra additional draw outside your leader, which is quite nice. We've seen how powerful that is for Android 18 in green. But also has a 1 KO'd effect where you can play this card from your drop and rest mode, and then you can't play a Fuse Zamasu for the rest of the turn. Now, while it only triggers 1 KO'd, you can still remove it in other ways by bouncing it and bottom decking it, or even just minus its power to 0. So that can't get around it. But if it's going to be KO'd by battle by effect, you can trigger that to kind of bring it back again, which is quite cool. But then having this on board allowed to attack and draw more cards, I mean you can keep that a decent sized hand filled for your deck quite quickly. Then we got Vegeta, which is probably the most lackluster one out of the 3. Because the 3 cost 25k, it's pretty decent stats. Has a permanent where during your turn, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you can use to reduce the cost of battle cards in your opponent's battle area by 1. So reduce the cost so you can kind of bounce more things back. So if you have this and you can reduce something by 2 costs to make it so you can bounce a bottom deck so you can get a little bit easier. But its on play is just choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 1 or less and place it at the bottom of his deck. So automatically, if you play the Mai first and play this, you can and you got 7 less cards in your hand, you can bottom deck so that's 3 cost. But otherwise, you're going to be bottom deck something that's just 2 cost maximum out of this, or maybe even 1 if you've got too many cards in your hand. So not the greatest kind of card, but still an option. And also they have alternative arts as well. So you've got nice alternative arts. Not amazing alternative arts going to lack in this set compared to the previous set, I would say. But yeah, like if like considering how great some of the alt arts look in Masters, well, most of the alt arts look in Masters, and even some of the alt arts in One Piece look quite nice. The fact they've given us this for the alt arts in Fusion World just feels like a slap in the face and an insult, because they can be so much better. These are just very bland for what they are for the alt arts. Then we've also got a secret rare. So blue finally gets a secret rare. So now all the colours now have a secret rare, which is quite nice because we get the extra secret rare. Well, they get secret rares for both blue and yellow because they missed out on set 1. And it gets quite a nice one. And Vegito being the one for blue also gets a the alt art as well, so the double alt art. He's quite a nice one. So he's a secret rogue actually combat power where the other 2 don't. 30k power on a 5 cost, which is not too bad. Also has a nice little on play where if you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 5 or less price back to hand. So we're not the best at bottom, like it's not bottom decking like the Vegeta SR. It's still a little bit weaker, but it like bounce on bad hand. But it can also attack twice as well. Get some like kind of have almost similar to Broly, where activate main once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you can switch this card to active mode and then attack again. So you can get 2 attacks out of it, which is quite cool. And you don't have to have any cost like discarding cards or anything like that. Just have 7 fewer cards in hand, which you can easily do by just comboing some off on the first attack to make sure you can restand it. It does have a very nice alt art. Like the alt art is the same as the is like not as great as the Goku 1% one. Like it's still kind of like the blinding white shininess, but it's not as iconic as the Goku's pose. But the normal art is just amazing. Like unless you look at his face and kind of zoom in and look at his face, the detail on the card is very nice. So that's out of the way. Now we got the extra cards. So we got a couple of extra cards for Zamasu and Goku Black and stuff. Where we got the like Divine Hammer, Blades of Judgment, and Fusion of Evil Power. Like some quite interesting ones and battle tricks and some other ones as well. So Divine Hammer is a nice one as a battle trick, being a 2-cost battle trick, but a bit more expensive. But you can always reduce the cost of any of these as well. Remember by having Bulma, because she can reduce the cost if you've got 7 or fewer cards in your hand by 1 for the turn, and just 1 blue, so it doesn't reduce them down further than just 1. That doesn't do it anymore. They did a nice thing in doing that, making sure it only reduces by a specific cost. And the actual, the cost also needs to be the specific cost, whereas to avoid that kind of problems. So you can play Divine Hammer for 2, but also reduce it by 1 if you use Bulma. And it's an activate battle where if you have a Zamasu, if you use a Zamasu battle card, so there's currently only 2, one's a 4 cost, one's a 5 cost, so you need a specific card out on board. And then you can choose one of your leaders or battle cards and give it 30k power for the battle. So you give a huge boost, but you need 1 or 2 specific cards on board, and they're both high cost to get 4 and 5. One can kind of stick around a bit more, and one wants to kind of be a kid, so you can play it something else. But actually, no, there's the 6 drop as well. Ignore me. There's 3 cards of it, but they're all high costing. Then you have Blades of Judgment, being a card that can activate either during the main or battle, so kind of flexibility. And it's more of a searcher than a battle trick, because it allows you to look at top 5 cards of your deck, reveal to 1 card with Supreme Kai, which is the Zamasu cards, and then like Shin and Okai, so so you kind of here have some synergy with a super combo, but not search that, and add it to your hand, and then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. So you kind of have the same with red, but it has a searcher for a trait, but it's Supreme Kai, so it's a very limited one, but more for like Zamasu kind of stuff. But still a way to search super combo in blue, which before only red had, or technically yellow as well. And then you got Fusion of Evil, being a 3 cost extra. There's an activate main where you have to place 1 Goku Black and 1 Zamasu, so 1 of each from your hand or battle area at the bottom of your deck. So bottom deck, 2 cards either from board or hand. And then you draw 2 cards, you get back those cards that you put back, and then you can play up to 1 View Zamasu with a cost of 4 from your hand for free. So you can kind of cheat that one in a little bit earlier, but you have to have a specific setup, or you can just hard cast it for 4. So an interesting card, but can add a bit of consistency, especially if you go hard with a Goku Black deck, adding Zamasu and Goku Black. You can kind of bottom deck if you've got too many to the bottom of your deck, draw 2 and kind of cheat out something, which could be pretty nice. And then the last ones we got are these ones. We got Awakening to Super Saiyan Rose, Absolute Lightning, and Time Ring. So again, these are all ones that can be reduced with Bulma down to 1, so you can play technically free play Time Ring and play the other 2 for cheaper for 2 costs rather than 3. But none of the battle tricks, these are just accurate mains. You got Awakening to a Super Saiyan Rose, being choose all battle cards of Earthling in the special traits in the battle areas, return them to an owner's hand. Then, if you return 3 or more cards, draw 2. Nice thing is you can choose in any battle area. It could be your battle area or your opponent's battle area. So you can have some cantrips like the Trunks cantrip or like Bulman stuff in hand or Mai in your battle area. And if your opponent's got like 1 or 2 cards in hand, you can use this to bounce theirs to your hand and yours back to hand after you attacked with them and stuff. Or even put some P-Last after you played them back to your hand after they've grabbed you some stuff. To then bounce them back to hand because and hopefully if you return 3 by hand, draw 2 more cards as well, so you can kind of get more cards and more options. So quite an interesting card, kind of like situational, but could be interesting. And you got Absolute Lightning being a nice little removal, like the removal kind of Blue's been waiting for. Because it's an activate main where you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of his deck. So as before, we had very limited on cost. Your opponent could only get rid of things that are 5 or less, so meaning anything 6 or higher was kind of immune to Blue being able to do anything about it. Where now you've got an extra card that allows you to bottom deck any one battle card, no matter the cost. So nice removal and probably a staple in Blue going forward. And then you got Time Ring, being an activate main, where you can look at the 3 cards from the top of your deck, place them on the top or bottom of your deck in any order, and then after that, draw 1. So you can kind of look at the top 3, either put them all to the top, and then all to the bottom of your deck. So either keep them all on top and rearrange them how you want, or put them all to the bottom in any order you want, then draw cards. You can kind of deck thinning, but I'm not sure how amazing that could be, but it could be useful in certain situations in future. But we'll have to see when we get more sets. But as all of Blue, so Blue looks to get just like Red, get a big boost from set 2, like get some nice new additions that kind of help it out. So it's not going to be as bad in set not as bad in set 2 as it was in set 1, but it just gets really nice additions, which are going to be nice to play with. So that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. And when we go over and look at green in set 2. Bye for now.